Welcome into episode 4 of Winnipeg Sports Talk Weekly. I'm your host, Connor Hrabchak. We have an absolutely wild week of news to get to. Some major Jets news. The Bombers played another home game. The Sea Bears with 2 thrilling wins at home, plus some crazy news off the court. There's a ton to get to. Let's start with the Winnipeg Jets news of the week. Murat from The Athletic is reporting that Jets top prospect Rutger McGroarty is likely to be traded. This came as a major shock to Jets fans on Saturday afternoon, as Murat furthered the report of Elliot Friedman, who on his 32 Thoughts, the podcast, he reported that McGroarty's name has popped up in trade talks across the league. Murat clarified in his article that this is not a situation of a player wanting out of Winnipeg because of their views on the city. Rather, there is a disconnect between how Winnipeg views McGroarty's future and how McGroarty views his own future. Murat wrote at the end of the article that he is under the impression that McGroarty will be traded soon and likely before the draft. And I'm sure Kevin Cheveldayoff will have plenty of suitors for a player that has done nothing but excel in his past couple seasons at the University of Michigan. As the 2023-24 season was winding down, I remember Hustler having various guests on Winnipeg Sports Talk Daily and asking them whether or not they thought Rutger McGroarty can make an impact for the Winnipeg Jets, who were a playoff team, down the stretch and into the playoffs. I remember half the guests being split saying yes he could, half the guests being split saying no he couldn't, and when he recommitted to Michigan again for another season, that came as a shock to a lot of people, and now we know why. There's a clear disconnect here between what McGroarty views his NHL future is and what the Jets view his NHL future is. Let me know in the comments below, do you think Rutger McGroarty gets traded before the draft? Obviously, now everyone knows he's available. There will be plenty of calls as he no longer believes that his future is with the Winnipeg Jets. Let me know down below. Now let's quickly rapid fire the other Winnipeg Jets news of the week. Earlier on, they hired 2 new assistant coaches to round out Scott Arniel's coaching staff, Dean Chenoweth and Davis Payne. Now their focus shifts to the NHL draft, which starts on Friday. Hustler and Rumus will be down in Vegas, keeping you covered on all things Winnipeg Jets. They might have a first-round pick after all. I just brought up Rutger watch. We're also on Nikolai Ehlers' watch, whose name is popping up on trade boards across the league. Number 4, the Winnipeg Jets released their preseason schedule. They'll play 6 games, 2 against the Wild, 2 against the Oilers, and 2 against the Calgary Flames. All 3 teams, 1 at home, 1 on the road. Lastly, free agency starts a week from now, Monday, July 1st. I'll have more to say about that on next week's edition of Winnipeg Sports Talk Weekly. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers played another game this week, and they fell to 0-3 for the first time since 2012. A 24-26 loss to the BC Lions, a close game down the stretch, a 3rd and 6 punt that will be scrutinized all week long until the Bombers play again next Saturday. But simply put, there are way too many injuries up front right now. Dalton Schoen left this game in the 3rd quarter with a lower body injury. There hasn't been an update yet on his status. The Bombers are already without Kenny Lawler. Brady Oliveira was just barely working his way back into action. Chris Streveler actually was the Bombers' leading rusher in this game with 10 carries. And in the 4th quarter, there were so many injuries on the offensive side of the ball that Chris Streveler was running routes as a wide receiver for the entire 4th quarter. When you take all of that into account, you can see why the Bombers lost to one of the best teams in the Western Division, the BC Lions, who improved to 2-1 on the night. The Bombers now 0-3. They'll play Calgary next Saturday. I'll have more to talk about that later on in the episode. The Sea Bears had a roller coaster of a week. First of all, they cut the reigning MVP, Teddy Allen. Head coach Mike Taylor saying that they tried to get Teddy to buy into the system many times, but were unable to do so, so they had to make the tough decision to let him go. Then the very next game, the Winnipeg Sea Bears find themselves down 12, heading into target score time, and make a miraculous comeback as Justin Wright Foreman hits the game winner. And then Saturday night against the Saskatchewan Rattlers, a battle of the prairies, the Sea Bears come back from being down 27 points and pull out a 103-101 win. The Winnipegger Emmanuel Acott with 23-5-5 in this game and the game winner. Just a wild week, 2 massive comebacks for the Sea Bears. They cut the MVP, but won 2 straight games. It was an unbelievable week for the Winnipeg Sea Bears, who saw great crowds downtown for Sea Bears Week. As for the Winnipeg Goldeyes, they had a tough week. As you can see, they lost 5 straight games, 3 in a row to the Gary South Shore Railcats, and then 2 in a row to Fargo Moorhead, before beating Fargo on the Sunday 5-2. The Bats just simply went ice cold this week. The Goldeyes have had great pitching, some of the best pitching in the American Association all season long, but this week, their bats failed them. They'll look to get more runs on the board as they hit the road, starting in Chicago. And that first game, the 1-0 loss to the Railcats, was Winnipeg Sports Talk night at the ballpark. I wasn't able to make it, but Huss and Remus had a great time. Thank you everyone for coming out once again. Can't wait to do that again next year. Now it's time to hand out the 3 stars of the week, but before we do that, hit the like, hit the subscribe and the notification bell so you don't miss videos like this from Winnipeg Sports Talk in the future. We've got a ton of great content coming to the channel this week. As I said before, Huss and Remus, they're down in Vegas bringing you all you need to know about the NHL draft. So stay tuned, hit the notification bell so you don't miss videos all week long. Let's hand out the 3 stars of the week from the Winnipeg sports scene. My third star of the week is Goldeyes pitcher Landon Barassa. He was the pitcher in that game that the Goldeyes lost 1-0, the Winnipeg Sports Talk night. And then on Sunday, he got another start, this time against Fargo, and he got the win. He got the run support, 6 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts, only 2 runs allowed, 1 walk, and 6 hits allowed. In the 1-0 loss, he pitched 8 innings and only gave up 1 run in that game as well. So for my money, those are 2 quality starts. He's my third star of the week on Winnipeg Sports Talk Weekly. My second star of the week is Bombers quarterback Chris Streveler. I predicted going into the game that we would have seen more of Streveler, but I couldn't have predicted that he would be the leading rusher in terms of attempts with 10 in this game. But he showed up in a big way. He scored 3 touchdowns, punching all 3 in from the 1-yard line because of the hat trick of touchdowns. He's my second star of the week, and I still think we'll see more of Streveler going forward as the Bombers' run game looks to get going against Calgary. Winnipeg Sea Bears point guard Justin Wright-Foreman is my first star of the week. After Teddy Allen was released, he stepped into the lead scorer role and has been fantastic in both games. In the first game of the week, he hit the miraculous bank shot from almost half court to win the game for the Sea Bears. And then in the second game, he led the team in scoring in what was a huge comeback win against the Saskatchewan Rattlers. Back-to-back games as the leading scorer, 28 points per game on the season with 5 assists. He's my first star of the week on Winnipeg Sports Talk Weekly. Those are my 3 stars. Let me know in the comments below if I might have missed one. Let's get into the upcoming sports schedule here in Winnipeg. So here it is, the upcoming sports schedule here in Winnipeg, starting with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They'll look for their first win of the season against the Calgary Stampeders on Saturday night. Calgary also lost narrowly to BC in week 2, so this should be a great game. Monitor the injury reports all week long to see the statuses of Brady Oliveira, Dietrich Nichols, Dalton Schoen, all these players that have been banged up at one point or another this season. We'll see how many of them play. Then the Winnipeg Sea Bears, they'll look for their 3rd straight victory. They'll welcome the Niagara River Lions into Canada Life Center, looking for their 3rd straight win. As I said, Justin Wright-Foreman, my first star of the week. He'll look to keep the good times rolling as the Sea Bears play another home game. The Goldeyes, they just had a 9-game homestand. If you missed them, it'll be July 5th when you can see them again. But they're going to hit the road starting in Chicago on Tuesday night to take on the Chicago Dogs. And the NHL, there's a lot of events this week. One of the most important games in NHL history is happening Monday night as the Oilers take on the Panthers. The Oilers have stormed from being down 3-0. A lot riding on that game. Stanley Cup Finals, Game 7, nothing better. Can't wait to tune into that one. And then the NHL Draft. I brought it up a few times. Round 1 is on Monday night. Huss and Remus, they'll be down in Vegas starting on Wednesday, bringing you all the best content. Stay tuned to the Winnipeg Sports Talk YouTube channel. Honorable mentions, Valor FC, they play York United on Thursday, and racing continues at Assiniboia Downs on Mondays through Wednesdays. That's going to do it for the 4th edition of Winnipeg Sports Talk Weekly. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. I can't wait for another jam-packed week. Hockey, NHL Draft, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Hopefully they can get their first win of the season. I'll have you covered on all of it next Monday on Canada Day, July 1st, when NHL free agency kicks off. I'll have episode 5 of Winnipeg Sports Talk Weekly for you. Have a great week, everyone. Enjoy the games this week, and I'll see you next Monday.